So, good morning, class. So, now we will start our today's lesson, the ongoing chapter, that is how do organisms reproduce. So, first we will start by recalling what all things we learned in our earlier class. Like we learned about the sexual maturation and what are the different types of changes that happen in a human body when we move from our childhood phase to an adulthood phase, right? So this was all that we discussed in our previous classes. Okay. So now coming on to our today's class, first we will start our class with a question. So in male body, which part or which organ of a male is known as the reproductive organ? In males, you have to answer in males. Okay, yes, very good. Yes, it is the penis. Yes, very good. So now we will see a picture and you all have to observe it and then you have to share your observations. You can observe it for like 5 to 6 seconds and then we will share our observations. Okay. Okay, so yes. So now we will share our observations, right? So yes, what do you see in front of you? Yes, very good. Yes, you all answered it correctly. In front of it, we can see a diagram of the male reproductive system. So yes, what are the different parts that the male reproductive system is having? Like it is having a bladder, right? Here, bladder, and then the prostate gland, right? Prostate gland, and then there is penis, and then there is the urethra inside the penis, and then there is this testis. So these are some of the different parts. And what else you can see, you have to discuss. So yes, so these were the different parts of the male reproductive organ, male reproductive system. Okay, so first there was a bladder, prostate gland, then penis, and then the urethra. Then comes the testis, uh, and then the scrotum, okay, and then the vas deferens comes, and then ureter, and then the seminal vesicles. So these are some of the different organs that are present inside the reproductive system that completes this whole reproductive system together. So yes, this was all about the male, like the different parts of the male reproductive system or male, yes, the male reproductive system. Now coming on to our next slide, what we will see is we will see some more detailed function of all these organs that are present in the male reproductive system. And we will see what all things happen inside a male reproductive system. So yes, I think you all are now excited. So yes, so the first slide shows is what you have to do is now you have to read it, right? So first point is to produce the male reproductive cells like germ cells or the sperms, right? Hormones and accessory materials, okay, and to deposit the germ cells in the female reproductive system. So these two are the two main functions of the male reproductive system. So first function is what it does is it produces the male reproductive cells. And what are the male reproductive cell? It is the sperm cell, or we can also call it as a germ cells. And the other thing that this male reproductive system produces is the hormones. And this third thing that this male reproductive system produces are some accessory materials. And what are these? We will read further. So this was the first function of the male reproductive system. And the second main important function that the male reproductive system plays in the process of reproduction is it deposits the germ cells like the sperms in the female reproductive system. Only then will the reproduction happen. So these two were the two main functions of the male reproductive system, right? Okay, so now we will move on to our next slide. So in this slide, you can see there is a word written in the middle, and that word is the testosterone. So testosterone is the hormone. Okay, so in the earlier slide, we studied about the germ cell that the male reproductive or system was producing, that was known as the sperm. But we also came to know that it not only produces germ cells, but different hormones and also different accessory materials. So the one of the hormone that it produces is the testosterone. And this is a very important hormone. You have to remember its name correctly and its function. So what are the function? The first function is regulation of sperm formation. It smoothens the process of sperm formation. And second function that it plays is the development of secondary sexual characteristics. So these two are the two main important functions that this testosterone hormone plays in our reproductive system, in male reproductive system. So yes, these are the two main functions. Now we will move on ahead and we will see some more details about the human male reproductive system, right? So in this diagram, what you can see, you have to observe your observations. You have to share your observations, and then I will explain like what is actually happening in this picture. Okay. After 5 seconds, we will discuss what is happening, right? So now we will discuss what it is saying is like the vast difference connected to urinary bladder. The vast difference here, as you can see, a tube-like structure, it is connected to the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is where the urine gets collected, right? And the sperms join with the secretions that provide nutrition for them to survive. So here, these are the sperms, right? And they join with the secretions that provide nutrition for them to survive. So like these are some of the small functions that all the different organs in the male human reproductive system plays, like vas deferens and what are the other glands for. So yes, this was all about the male reproductive system. Now we all saw that the germ cell that we discussed earlier is playing very important role in the reproduction process. So now how does it look like in, so yes, so this is how the germ cell it looks like, right? So it is a shape, what here's the shape is, like here it is the head region of the sperm cell, and this part is the neck region, and then this is the tail region, right? So this is a sperm, and this is the whole diagram of it. The sperm is divided into three main parts. First is the head region, like this head, human is having a head. Then the neck region, because this neck connects the head to the lower part of the body. And then instead of lower part of the body, it has a tail. So this is a sperm, and this is how it looks like. And this is how its body is divided into different parts. So this was all about male reproductive system. So now coming on to the curiosity question, and that is why scrotum remains outside the body of human male. You have to answer this question based on your understanding till now. It will be a little hard to answer this question because you have to think it, and if you're not able to find it on internet also, and you will get some more extra facts and information about it. And also when you answer this question, you have to answer it in the chat box. I will be waiting for your answers. Okay, so now if you want some more hints from this picture, you can get hint like what is actually happening. You have to observe this picture. I will give you 5 seconds. Till the time you can write your observations based on this picture and your answers of this question in the comment box below. After 5 seconds, we will move on to our next question. Okay, so now we will move on to our next question. So the correct sequence of organs in male reproductive system for transport of sperm is, okay, so now you have to mark which one of these is the right answers, right? from testis to vas deferens to urethra, or from testis, ureter to urethra, or from testis, urethra to ureter, and from testis to vas deferens to ureter. So you have to find the answer for this question and write in the chat box. I will not give you the answer for it because we just discussed right now. So you have to just find the answers from the whole thing that we discussed just now. So yes, so now we will move on ahead, right? Okay. Yes. Now we will move on to our next slide. Okay. So now we will move on ahead in our topic. Okay. Now, yes. So now I have a question. Like we just discussed right now, the male reproductive system, right? Now we will discuss the female reproductive system, as you can see on the screen. So first, we will start with a little question. You have to think the answer. Like, like what role does the female reproductive system plays in the reproduction process? We just discussed many things about the male reproductive system right now. So what role do you think it plays? Yes, very good. Okay. Yes. Yes, it allows the male germ cell to deposit in it. Okay, yes, it can be considered as an answer. So yes, so now we will move on ahead and see some more details, like how exactly the female reproductive system looks and how it functions. So yes, so now there is a picture in front of you. You have to observe it and then you have to share your observations. What can you see in this picture? Yes, you all answered it correctly. It is the female reproductive system, right? And it is also made up of different organs, same like the male reproductive system. So what are the different organs? Yes, for the vagina, there is cervix, there is uterus, ovary, and the fallopian tube or the oviduct. So yes, these are some of the very important organs that are present in the female reproductive system. Okay, so now we will move on ahead and we will see some more details about the reproductive system, the female reproductive system. So yes, so now there is a picture in front of you and there are different organs here also given. And now you have to explain like what exactly is happening. And if you know, if you are able to recognize something from this picture, or if you want to share your observations. If no, then I will explain it. Yes, there is a fallopian tube. It connects ovaries to ureters. Yes, very good. Then there is membrane. Okay, yes, it is receiving the ovum. Yes, very good. Okay, okay. So now we will discuss how the female reproductive system actually works, right? So, okay. Like when a girl is born, right? When a girl is born, the ovaries, like here, yes. So here, this part is the ovary part, right? This ovary is containing thousands of immature eggs, right? Immature eggs, thousands of immature eggs. And when the girl reaches the stage of puberty, some of these eggs, they start to mature. And one egg is produced every month, right? Like this egg is produced every month. This mature egg is produced one mature egg is produced every month. Okay, one by one in the ovaries in this region. This is the ovaries, right? The egg is carried from the ovaries to the ovary. Okay, carried from the ovary. Sorry, the egg is carried from the ovary to the womb part. This is the womb part. This whole is the womb part to the womb with the help of a fallopian tube. As this tube you can see, right? This is the fallopian tube. As you can see here, small ovary is passing from ovary. Sorry, the egg cell, it is passing from the ovary to the womb, right? Okay. The two oviducts. Now here, the two oviducts, what they do is unite into an elastic bag, right? Elastic bag. Wait, first I will remove all these different parts. Okay. The two oviducts unite into a plastic bag-like structure known as the uterus. So this is the whole uterus part, whole uterus, and the uterus opens into the vagina. This was the vagina region as we saw in the earlier diagram through the cervix, right? Cervix, and then the sperm, the sperm from the male reproductive organ, it enters through this vaginal passage, vaginal from here, the sperm enters, right? Okay, during the sexual intercourse process, like when we are like when people are doing sex, then the sperm enters the female reproductive system, right, through the vaginal opening. uh, they travel upwards and reach the oviduct, where they may encounter the egg, right? They reach here and they may encounter the egg because egg is coming from here to here and the sperms are moving from here to here. So they may encounter, right? The fertilized egg means when the sperm and the egg they fuse, then it becomes a fertilized egg, zygote, right? Starts dividing and form a ball of cells into embryo. From embryo it develops later, it develops. Okay, and this embryo or the zygote, what it does, it attaches itself to the endometrium lining here, lining to the endometrium lining of the uterus. So this is how the fertilization process happens in the female reproductive system. So now, do you have any doubts or are you clear with the concept? If you have any doubts, please write your doubts in the comment box. Then we will continue with our class. So now I will give you 5 or 10 seconds to write your doubts in the chat box. If you are clear, then we will move on ahead. Okay. Okay. So yes, so now we will move on ahead. Yes. So in this picture, what you can see is girls are born with ovaries with sufficient number of immature eggs, right? And then the eggs get matured, right? And releases one by one. When the puberty happens, they release one by one. Yes, right? Yes, they are released one by one. Now we will, as you can see here, the process, the whole process. And so now what is happening more is one egg is released per month alternatively by the ovaries, right? If it gets fertilized, the female will get pregnant. But what happens if this egg is not fertilized? We will see it later. Okay. So yes, as you can see, this sperm is moving towards the egg to get fertilized, right? And then the fertilization will happen. So this photo is showing you the process of fertilization, right? We will see some more pictures, right? Yes. See here, the zygote is formed after the fusion of the male and the female gamete, right? And then here, and now we will see the zygote, this fertilized egg, the zygote, and the wall of the uterus becomes thick. Why? So that it can provide nutrition to the zygote. And then we will see what happens next is, yes, the zygote, then see it got so much bigger. It means it developed into embryo and embryo further developed. So it got so big and it will get so big with the size of a baby, right? So this was all the process of fertilization in female reproductive organ. And then it starts into developing of the placenta, right? Placenta helps the embryo to take nutrition from the mother's body and exchange of gases also, and it also takes away the waste product from the from the embryo to the mother body. So these are the main functions of placenta. Okay, so now we will move on ahead. So now fetus grows inside the mother's body. Now you can see the embryo, it has developed into a fetus. And then what do you think happens when twins are born? The same process it happens, right? But now you have to find it in more detail and then you have to write in the comment box. I will wait for 5 seconds in this picture. You can take this picture, and with the help of this picture, you can answer this question. And then you can write your answers in the chat box. Okay, so yes, so now we will move on ahead. So now there is a question. Which event will likely occur in the ovaries of the female after attaining puberty? So for this question, you have to write your answers in the chat box. I will not tell you the answer because we just discussed it right now. So I want to see how much you understood, and if not, then please ask your doubts in the chat. So yes, so now we will move on further into our next topic. So yes, till now we saw that fertilization occurred between the fusion of male and female gamete was happening. From zygote, embryo was formed. From embryo, the baby was formed. But what will happen if this fertilization will not happen? Yes. So now what will happen? What will happen to the egg cell? Because it is getting released every month. So where will it go? What will happen? Yes, you can discuss. Yes, very good. So now, yes, the periods, they happen because of this process. It happens when fertilization is not happening. Now we will see some more details. So now there is a picture in front of you, and you have to answer based on this picture, like what will happen if fertilization does not happen. Okay. So now there will be no zygote formation, there will be no embryo formation, and there will be no baby formation. So yes, the lady will not get pregnant. So these are some possibilities that will happen if fertilization does not occur. Now we'll see some more details. Okay, what will happen if the egg do not get fertilized? This is the same question again. Now we will see what will happen is this process. And what is the process written on your screen? That is, yes, very good. That is menstruation. So now we will see the process of menstruation in details, right? So now what happens in the process of menstruation is, like, if the egg is not fertilized, right? If the egg is not fertilized, it lives for about 1 day. Okay. Since the ovaries release one egg every month, the uterus also prepares itself for every month. And how it prepares? By forming this lining around itself, right? Okay. It prepares every month to receive a fertilized egg. Thus, its lining becomes thick and spongy. This would be required for the nourishment of the embryo, right? And then only it will form into a baby. But if embryo is not forming, then what will happen to this nutrition? What will happen to this lining that is there for providing nutrition? What will happen is we will see now. Okay. So if fertilization had taken place, this lining would have provided nutrition to the embryo. But if it is not, so now, however, this lining is not needed any longer. So the lining slowly breaks and comes out through the vaginal opening, right? So yes, it will come out through this opening, this lining. This lining is made up of blood and other fluids. It will come out of this vaginal opening in the form of blood and mucus. Okay, and this cycle takes place roughly every month, and this cycle is known as the menstruation cycle, and it usually lasts for about 2 to 8 days depending on the individual. So this was all about menstruation. If you have any doubt, please share your doubts in the comment box below, and I will answer to your every question. Yes, as you can see here, I think you understood the concept of, so you can see the blood is flowing out of the vaginal opening. So now there is a question. Do male and female produce germ cells throughout their life? You have to look for this question. It is a curiosity question. Okay, so look for it and write your answers in the comment box below. Okay, so now we will move on to the next question. What happens in menstruation? You have to answer it in detail. You can write in the chat box the small processes that happens in menstruation. Okay, so now we will come to the recapitulation part. what all things we discussed today? We discussed the male reproductive system, we discussed the female reproductive system, and we discussed the important process that happens in the female reproductive system, that is the menstruation, right? So this was all about the recap. Coming to the homework part, so these are some of the questions that you have to answer, and if you find any doubt in the questions, please do let me know in the comment box below. I will answer it. I will answer every question. If you have any doubt regarding any question. So now we will meet in our next class. Okay? Thank you and bye.